Hello and welcome back to Yarn Creations. I'm Crystal and we are now on to part 3 of our 3-piece buffalo plaid dishcloth set that we have been working on. So for this particular pattern, the video shouldn't be too long because we're simply just doing stripes of the colors back and forth. We do 2 rows of each color, alternating based on what the pattern indicates. So yeah, you might want to refer to the pattern when you're changing your colors, or it's personal preference, however you would like your stripes to go. I mean, it's entirely up to you how you want them to go. So there's no, right or wrong. You can just do what you would like with the 3 colors that we've been working with. It'll match regardless of what you choose. So I've already done my chain 33, which is what we've done with the other 2 dishcloths as well. I did use my 5mm hook to do that, and I think it's just because it's easier to kind of work in a bit bigger of a chain, and then it'll help even out the border because we'll use our 5mm hook to go around with the border as well. But to finish with the rest of the pattern, we do need to go to our 4.5mm hook. Oh, that's my 4. So yeah, so we just need the 4.5mm to finish the rest of the pattern. With the small squares, we did use the 5mm for the whole pattern, and that's just what the pattern instructions called for. And I believe with the other 2, because of the volume and to try to get the actual squares with the large square one, I think it was just best to go to a smaller hook to do that part so that it would work in proportion with the small squares so that they would be approximately the same size. Now I did find that with my large squares that it is slightly a bit bigger than my small squares, but again, that comes down to tension as well. So I might have had a bit tighter of a tension with the small squares, or I just had too loose of a tension with the large squares. So I mean, that's something you also need to be mindful of. But yeah, so I mean, it's only off by like a little bit, like it's hard to even notice it. So but yeah, so moving on, I tend to get sidetracked. So we are going to work with our chain 3, and I'm switching back to the 4.5mm hook. So all we're going to do, the same process that we've started with the other 2 dishcloths, we are going to work from our 3rd chain from the hook. So we're going to go into this one right here, and we're just going to do a double crochet all the way across, and then we will do 2 rows of this with this color, and then we'll switch to the next color. And like I said, you can follow along with the pattern that I have put in the description to see, what color you should move to next, or you can just do, whichever color you would like to do next. I mean, it's completely up to you how you would like the pattern to go. So I'll follow the actual pattern instructions when I do my colors. So the next one that I'll do after the green will be with the white, and then I'll move to the orange. So again, simple. The color changes only happen for, like after 2 rows. So you really only need to carry your yarn up the side. And then again, that will get covered up with the single crochet border. So I will do these 2 rows, and then we'll come back with the next color change. And then after that, we'll probably just come back to the end when we're ready to put the border on. Okay, so I got the first 2 rows of the green done, so I'm now going to switch to the white. And because it's at the end here, we don't have to do that, where we don't complete the last double crochet that we did there. So yeah, I'm just going to basically pull up a loop, and sometimes you just have to tighten that. So we're going to have a bit of a tail there that we can weave in afterwards. And then we're just going to chain 2. Okay. And then we'll just continue doing the same thing. Make sure I have the right yarn there. And then we're just going to do a double crochet all the way across. So we'll do that for 2 more rows. And then so each color is going to need to be, so the next color after I do the white will be the orange. So, and then we'll go back to white again, and then back to the green. So what I would do is once we come back with the white row, I would kind of carry up your green when you start your orange, just so that we'll only have this little bit that's being carried up. Otherwise, by the time we get back to our green, we're going to have like a big long stretch like that, which I mean is fine. We can still cover that up with the border, but it just might be a little tidier, a little bit easier if you just kind of carry it up when we move to the orange. So I will show that once I get these 2 white rows of white done, just to kind of give you an idea as to what I mean. And then, yeah, we'll move on to the orange. All right, so I've now finished the 2 rows of white, and now we need to move on to, I believe we go with our, yes, we will move on with the orange. So I guess the biggest probably struggle that will be with this one is that, you know, once I put this one in, we are going to be attached to 3 balls of yarn again, which we were with our with the small squares. So again, it'll just be kind of trying to figure out what works best for you to try to keep everything from getting tangled, and you probably will have to untangle, but that'll probably be the biggest challenge with this one. So we just need to attach our orange here, and then I like to tighten that, and then we'll just do a chain 2, then we're going to turn. So what I want to do is with the green is I'd like to pull it up, because our next row is actually going to be white, but then I guess it's going to have to be pulled up too. Okay, well that's okay. So just to kind of keep it, I mean, it's going to look messy regardless of what you do when you're keeping the yarn up along the side there. But yeah, I guess I would have to come around this way. And just kind of, just like we did when we had to carry along our yarn before. But I'm thinking now, no, that should be okay. So I just kind of want to go underneath that, and then we'll just do our first. But I don't want to go any farther than that. It's just to kind of carry it up so that when we move, yeah, that should work. Because again, the border, when we go around with the border, it's going to cover that up and you wouldn't be able to tell it's there. But we don't need to bring that forward with us anymore. We just want to focus on the green now. I just wanted to bring that up so that we didn't have such a long string coming up from each new row, because the green one we're not using until after we do another row of white. So yeah, so that's gonna, you know, it'd be a big stretch to go up. So if we can kind of carry the yarn as we go, that would probably work out a little bit better. Or you can do it the other way if that's easier. But again, like I said, it's all gonna get covered up when we do our border. All right, so yeah, so now we're just going to do 2 rows of the orange, and then I think my next 2 rows, like I said, will be the white again. Then I'll go back to the green, back to the white, then I'll do the orange again, and then back to the white, and then finish off with the green. And that's all there is to it. So I mean, again, just, you know, as you're doing your stripes, just follow the pattern if you want, or you can just do whatever stripes that you want, because it's all going to match anyways with the other two dishcloth sets that we've done. Yeah, so I will continue working on this, and then I will come back when it's all done. And yeah, I think you guys should all know how to do the border as well. because I've done that in the last two videos. The only thing you have to remember is that in the corners you do a single crochet, then you chain one, and then do another single crochet. Alright, so we have finished our stripes. Looks pretty cool. So now we just need to do the border like we've done in all the other ones. So because we finished with our green, we don't need to attach it. We can just start working with the border. So I'm just going to show you the one side here, which is the side where we have all of the yarn that we carried up from the rows, just to kind of show you what it's going to look like. So I am going to switch back to my 5mm hook. I also have some ends that I need to weave in here from what was left over when we started there. So we'll have to do that afterwards. But yeah, so because we're in the corner, we're going to do a single crochet, and then we're going to chain one, and then we're going to do another single crochet, and then we're just going to keep going along. So typically you do 2 single crochets per double crochet, and we just want to make sure that we're going around these strings that are left there. Okay. So yeah, so just do your single crochets all the way across. And then like we do in the corners, we do the single crochet, the chain one, and then the single crochet. So once again, I'm just going to finish working along here, covering up this border. We'll see what it looks like when we get done. And then we'll have all 3 of our dishcloths complete for the set. And it is complete. So now we have our striped pattern now. Look at how lovely that is. So that completes our 3rd dishcloth. Very nice. So we have all 3 here now. We have our small squares and we have our large squares. Awesome. I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to making more patterns tutorials for you. If you have any suggestions of any videos that you would like me to do, please leave a comment in the video. Awesome. See you soon with more stitches and more pattern tutorials.